What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sales Remastered. My name is Daniel. I'm your host. And in this episode, I'm going to share with you some sales tactics and techniques that helped me personally just over the last 2 weeks ramp up business very fast. And I'm talking about very fast. I was averaging 2 per day, sometimes even 3 per day. I would get up to 3 per day, but I average 2 points per day. And so if you're not familiar with the point system, in sales, at least from a mortgage banking standpoint, I've broken it down to 2 main points. No, it's not funded loans. No, it's not, like how many applications you got. Like there's a lot of focus that goes towards outbound dials and credit pulls and how much talk time you got, right? But I actually narrowed it down and I went very hyper focused, which has to do a lot with the topic in this particular video. And my goal in sharing this with you is to not only show by example that it's very possible, because I'm doing it, I did it, and more importantly, I want to share with you that there is a formula to doing this. And if you can hack this formula, or you can learn that secret formula, you too can implement the habits that allowed me to jump. And I'm a production manager. If it's your first time watching Sales Remastered, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your attention. If you consider subscribing, if you've earned your admiration or respect or credit, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, or hit the like on the page, and you'll add me to your feed. I do my best to be as consistent as possible to release content that's going to help you, such as this video here. And you're going to get influenced by your sales manager, your sales trainer. They're going to tell you all kinds of, things that you could possibly do. But what they preach, a lot of times what they preach is just the mathematics of it. So does that sound familiar? Like, it's a numbers game. You got to make 100 outbound dials. Well, the reason why they tell you that is because they don't classify your seat by the talent necessarily. They classify your seat by the average. And so your company needs to hit X amount of funded units. In order to hit X amount of funded units, they're going to look at all the LOs in that organization, or all the salesmen in that organization. And ultimately how they forecast their total funded goal is that they break it down and say, okay, this is how many per agent average that will need to be in order for the company as a whole to hit that goal. And to some degree, there's already acceptance and kind of expectation of not everyone hitting that goal, that average goal, because not everyone's average. Any sales environment, any environment for that matter, doesn't even have to be work. You're gonna have people that operate above average. You're gonna have people that operate at an average, and then you're gonna have people that operate below the average. And so this is just the law of mediocrity. This is the law of average, and it happens anywhere and everywhere. It's just the way it is. And so the company understands this, and this is why they expect that not everyone will hit the average, but also at the same time, from the performers who outperform the average, they'll help to offset. And so different companies, different techniques. Some will probably add a little insurance buffer, right? And so how it trickles down to the salesman, though, is that sometimes we are not necessarily individually paid attention to. So, your team manager or your VP or your sales manager or your sales trainer may be giving a message that's very vague. It's a blanket message. It goes to everyone. It's talking about general topics. But nothing is, there's not too much information. I want to say nothing, but I'm sure, in the abyss of internet, there's some sort of alternative option where you could seek your counsel, you could seek your guidance, your mentoring elsewhere. That's within the lines of what we do. So I use this strategy in order to avoid the traditional advice of make sure you make 100 calls, make sure you're on 6 hours of talk time per day, make sure you take 5 applications and pull credit reports 3 out of those 5 times. Whatever you hear right now, what I want you to do is open your eyes to a different formula. It's the secret formula. And what this will allow you to do is reduce the stress, reduce the amount of tedious input and work that is involved in the day-to-day and nuances of sales management, sales prospecting, sales negotiation, sales closing, sales, everything that goes within sales. And I think that the challenge is that a lot of us sometimes operate as if we're still in 2007 or we're still in 2009. And what I mean by that, and I'll explain, is that, in order to truly expand and scale and hit the tiers that you want to hit or hit the income bracket you want to hit, know that it's possible, and technology ensures it. Because, in technology, what I'm talking about is technology from internet to communication technology to CRM technology to LOS technology. And so there's a lot of technology that enables us to do more than we did in 2007 and 2009. But then again, you still have those prospects that still got a fax machine. Like, damn, you still got a fax machine? You ever get that? All right. And then you still have people that are like, hey, just page me. Like, what? And so people sometimes stay stuck in their comfort zone, and sometimes that comfort zone was a decade away. But what I did was I took the lessons that I learned over the years, not only from marketing and sales, but applying it to adapt to today. And so what I did ultimately was I just went very niche focused on who I was targeting. And so, your origination cycle or your origination block in your day may just be very mathematical, meaning that you're probably hooked onto a dialer and out of 100 connections, you're crossing your fingers that you can get one. And the problem with that is that you're going to get overworked, you're going to get spent, you're going to get burnt, you're going to feel that you're making a lot of movements but nothing's coming back. And us being in sales, we have this mindset about us where we want return on our efforts. That's the whole upside of being in sales, right? No one's in sales for the salary. No one's in sales to make that minimum wage hourly. And I hope you're not. No one's in sales to make a killing on OT, right? More importantly, if you don't go beast, if you don't make a name for yourself, if you don't produce and create that brand talking about your full name, your legal name. Like when they hear your name or they see your name, it should be towards the top of the chart. When they talk about your name, it should be positive, encouraging accolades and acknowledgement and salute to your hustle. That's what I'm talking about, the brand. And so where it applies here and where it applies now is that when we go into our origination, and sometimes we just kind of make calls to make calls, right? What we need to do is take a step back and realize that every single call is an action. And so every action needs to yield some sort of result. And so if we reverse engineer what our result to ultimately where we're at, right? So if our result that we wanted was to create a sale, well, then we have to understand what's selling right now. Like what's selling right now is obviously not the 3.5 30-year fix that used to sell back in 2016. But that's okay, right? And why doesn't that sell? Let's pay attention as to why that doesn't sell. Why that doesn't sell is because it just simply isn't available. But the problem is though is that sometimes in sales we go through denial, right? And this is a lot of reasons why some of us choose not to learn. We choose not to train. We choose not to practice our craft. We choose not to do that extra hour is because we are in denial. Whether we're in denial that we believe we know everything there is to know, or we believe that we just couldn't possibly grow anymore, or we believe that it's going to be a waste of time. We overthink things, and therefore we come to these conclusions that sometimes leave us out hanging to dry. Like there's no path down that road. And what I discovered over the last couple of weeks, because I really wanted to put this formula into place, if you look at the link below, there's a link called Course Library, and I have this thing called this training module called The Secret Formula. And what the secret formula is, and another one called The Close. The Close in itself is just a smaller, condensed training module. It's a sales training module, and it's for real sales training module. Like you seen them other trainings, or you probably think you understand what's inside of it. I invite you to click the link and get a preview of what's inside of it. It's all about the science of selling. Anyway, I had this expanded digital course called The Secret Formula, which actually has the close in it, but it goes into systematic habits. It goes into system creation, system design, understanding your platform, understanding the key players in your organization who are going to help you get to the top. And how they help you get to the top is because I'm teaching you the art of delegation. And when you understand the art of delegation, you understand how to expand your results, but also how to scale your time. Like you're doing a lot within a minimal amount of time because you've mastered the art of delegation. And so why I bring this up is because this formula, these habits, this art of delegation per se, is the exact strategy that I personally used, and I was able to ramp up very fast. And when I'm talking about fast, I'm talking about like very fast. Like there was no objections. There was objections, you know. I ain't gonna lie, I'm good, but I'm not that good. But you know, there's definitely objections about the interest rate, wondering why their interest rate's going up. They're wondering why they got to pay fees. You know, they're wondering why, even though their rate is going up and their mortgage payment is going up, how it makes sense, right? And so there's still that nuance. But if you know, because I'm pretty experienced and I use this formula, everything that I said in my communication was sprinkled within the communication that I had with the prospects were already answers to what I knew that they would have, and so, or questions that they have. And so if I knew that it was a possible chance that they would question why their rate is going up and why their mortgage payment, the payment was going up, then I already knew that could catch someone's eye, and that would thus create a question or an objection. And where I think a lot of us in sales, we tend to avoid it. Again, it's denial. Denial holds a lot of salespeople back because we're either denying that an objection is going to happen, or we become on defense, or we get in defensive mode where we know in the back of our head that objection is going to happen, but we try to stay in denial and skip around it. And so when that objection does come up, we become in shock. We become so fearful that we become defensive, and our tonality changes. It's almost like we're arguing with our love, our better half, our significant other, or someone. We become argumentative, and this actually pushes the prospect away, but we don't realize that it's us because of the denial. And so you'll know you're on this path because you're having a difficult time on getting the social security number, or you're having a difficult time on getting them to commit to the second call, or you're getting a difficult time to create urgency. And to really illustrate the power of understanding the secret formula is, imagine if you could just generate your sales be in and out for the day. You imagine having consistency in production and income and bonus and commissions consistently, not up and down, right? Not up and down, not one of those cross my fingers, I hope I hit a tier. If at the end of the month, your life is ruled by making sure that one extra unit goes, because if it doesn't, then you don't hit the bottom line tier. You're in the wrong path. You're using the wrong formula. You need to get to a point where your production is so automated, you're already at the top tier with a buffer. You know what I mean? Like your top tier is 20, bro, you're at 25. Like, you know what I mean? Like the top tier is not an issue. It's not a question if you can hit the top tier. The question is, how many can I do in a quarter? Now, when you change your frame and say, okay, well, I need to hit this tier, or I want to hit that tier, or I want to hit 10 grand this month. I hope I hit 10 grand this month. And you change that perspective, you change that wording to, I'm going to hit 90 this quarter, or I'm going to hit 30 each month for the next 3 months. Even though your surroundings have never done it, even though that's not the norm, it's fucking amazing what happens when you believe something so so real, like so you believe something so strongly that you actually do attract it. It's because you are putting in the actions. But here's the key thing is though, is that the harder you work, the more hours you work does not mean you're going to make more sales. The more calls you make does not mean you're going to make more sales. What will ensure you make the sales is learning the secret formula, and I'm going to give you the secret formula, starting off by this free sales script. You're going to get an example of the secret formula inside the sales script. The sales script's free, boo-boo. Just go to the link in the bio, click download, request the copy, check it out. You know, this script, this formula, these habits, this step, this understanding enabled me right now to be a top production sales manager, not just leading the #1 team in the company on a national size multi-billion-dollar lender outfit, but also to be the top producing loan officer in the company. I got the most units, I got the most locks, I got the most in volume. How though? How do I do that and also lead a team? Easy. I'm gonna share that with you right now. How you do it is you implement the formula, you implement the techniques and strategies that I share with you through the thousands of videos that I have on social media. But more importantly, find a mentor and an influence that encourages you, that pushes you and holds you accountable. And if you need that, if you want that, if you want to know what that feels like, well, get a gander here at Sales Remastered on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat, anywhere you could find me. Put me on your feed and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.